Welcome, Phoenix Knights, to our second Phoenix Table Talk. I didn't think we could top the last one, but by the end of this, I think you'll agree with me. This may be our best AMA Phoenix Table Talk today, and it's going to be a tough one to beat. Why? Because for two reasons. One, a massive milestone for us at Phoenix Community Capital. Everyone on the outside was saying what we were doing was impossible, that we were never going to be able to move to a revenue-based model, and that the companies we were investing in were never going to materialize. Well, today, we can say to those fudsters and haters, you were wrong. And we let our actions speak much louder, because time settles all arguments, and it's about time to introduce you to our second partnership, Billy Drop. So, before I do that, I know there's one man who can introduce Billy Drop better than I ever could, right? So, I'm going to have to bring him up on stage with me. So if everyone give him a marvelous round of applause, welcome on stage the CEO of Billy Drop, Murray. Woo! Okay. He may be joining us. Murray, are you there with us?
I'm here. Don't worry. I've arrived.
Thank you. I knew you were reliable. Something's different with you. I can't put my finger on it.
It's a haircut. Just a new haircut.
That's it. I know it's been tough. I know it's been stressful nights getting you up to this point, but you look great.
Thank you. Not too many wrinkles.
You're not the only one with a new haircut. We've got someone in the audience right now with us. Are you two friends?
Me and Bruce, yeah, way back.
Okay. Cool. I don't want any conflict on this show. So, with that being settled, Murray, it goes without saying, for anyone who has been living under a rock at PCC, who is Billy Drop and what exactly are you presenting to the world?
Oh, that's an interesting question. And I think perhaps the point is that it's not just PCC people who watch these broadcasts. Billy Drop is a method by which to play an interesting game where you can win money. So the core product is a drop, and a drop is a method by which you put tickets into a draw and somebody is randomly selected to win $1 million.
Excellent. Now, the concept, of course, sounds incredible, but everyone's going to be watching and saying, hey, how are you actually going to do that? And I know we have some questions.
Yeah.
You're going to answer to show people exactly how they can get involved and see it all come to life, because it's no ordinary game, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we've been very cagey about the details. If you've been looking at our website recently, there's been a countdown. The countdown disappeared a few hours ago, and we've got a replacement website, and we're dropping out further bits of information about what it is we're doing. So I think at initial investment, we talked about the drop itself. So this type of raffle system that hasn't been done before, but effectively you fill up these pots with money and then they're automatically distributed. There's details about how that's provably random and fair on the website. And we changed the website recently to reflect all the different things that are going on. And today I have 3 different things to announce.
Excellent. So we'll go through those 3. So the first one is anyone who was paying close attention to the old site, they would have asked, what was the countdown all about?
Okay, and I guess I'll start there. This is going to be the worst kept secret in the PCC ecosystem, that we are dropping NFTs, and we'll get into what the details of the NFTs are and what they're for and when the game itself starts, those sorts of things. But I guess the thing we have to address first is we've had a little bit of contention about the artwork. As you can see from the image that was just up, one of the goats has a ring light above his head, and that was interpreted as some sort of satanic symbolism. While we didn't see it, we don't understand it. We thought it was hilarious that somebody did. So whoever pointed that out made a big fuss about it on Twitter. Thank you very much for the extra engagement that you brought us. Beyond that, so the NFTs are not really about art. So there's art element involved in it because isn't it fun to make sexy goats? But that's not what it's really about. The NFTs are all about functionality. So if you're actually looking at the art, you want to understand what that's about. The artist's vision was a play on the artists we have in modern days. If you look back to ancient times and the Renaissance, you've got these masters doing things that are amazing. But today we have Instagram. People taking a pose, showing off their duck face or their butt, and posting that on the internet. So it's kind of a juxtaposition of the two, like that word. And you'll see effectively sculpted goats and figurines in poses that reflect common trends on social media. That's really what the art's about. But let's talk no more about art.
And I'm sure there'll be a lot more questions coming your way, which I hope you'll stick around with us, pun intended. So coming on to the second one. People want to know what's going on to the social media, right? For anyone who's watching now, they're going to get plenty of information, but we know there's only so much people can learn. So what can we expect after this interview?
On social media, we've got a bunch of engagement things going on. So to publicize the NFT and to get more engagement, we've got a collection of giveaways. You saw one of them go out today for, I think it was $500. There's a bunch of other incentives specific to PCC people. But then I guess I'll cover a bit more about what the NFT actually is. So the idea here is they are goat posed NFTs. There are 10,000 of them. The floor price is 1/3 of an ETH, and they're about function. And the first function we'll be releasing is the goat farm. And the goat farm is a liquidity farming type of game, as we had pointed out earlier, close to how chicken works. So this game is provided by Pangolin, who most of you will know. And it allows you to power up that goat so that it can be used for the primary function, which is to increase your chances of winning our drop. So when you buy one ticket for a drop, if you are a goat holder, you will end up with more entries in the drop than you paid for. So your chance of winning increases exponentially.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. And just for anyone at home who doesn't follow the Ethereum price chart, roughly how much is that in US dollars?
That's about $320 today.
Excellent, excellent. Which is a perfect segue onto the PCT community, right? Because we understand that arguably they've been the backbone to getting this up and running. And now arguably the investors will want to know, hey, what benefits do we get from supporting you from minus day one moving forward? So the question is, Mo, do PCC, specifically Nest holders, get anything special?
Yes. So we had some arm wrestling between myself and Eric, and you'd be surprised he's stronger than a spider. He has negotiated that there must be a discount for PCC holders. And, you know, the way we see it, you guys are our family. You've supported us to this stage. You've been helpful and engaging on social media and in our Discord. Some of you have volunteered to provide feedback and help on the development process of the games and branding and those sorts of things. So we've been very grateful for that. And he has negotiated that there will be a $100 rebate for PCC holders. So if you can validate that you have a Nest, and we have a list we can check against, like Santa, and we can work out that you are a Nest holder, then you will receive a rebate of $100 in USDC. But it will be 30 days after mint date. So it's important that you hold it. You can do what you want after that, but I think within the 30 days, we'll have demonstrated the functionality of the NFT and the reason why you will not want to get rid of it.
And if you don't mind reiterating that point again, Murray, you know, why is that 30-day clause in effect?
In effect, it's so that we don't have people saying, well, I will just buy 100 and dump them tomorrow because I got a discount. If you got your rebate immediately, and I had $1,000 and I was in the mood to game something, I would just cycle it through all day.
Of course.
And that would make it not very fair for the rest of the PCC community who want to actually play our games and play drop and the future things that we haven't yet announced. There is a limit on how many we have allowed. So out of 10,000, 10% of them are whitelisted potentially for PCC. So if you don't get on the list, you're going to miss out.
Awesome. And that whitelist is open when?
The whitelist is already live. It was announced on social media a few hours ago. It's linked in our Discord, in PCC's Discord. I think it's on Twitter as well. It's on pre-mint. You can sign up on there and sign up to get counted. Awesome.
Reed, whilst we're going through all of that, could you bring up the whitelist in the background just on Twitter? So we'll move on to the next question. Because you said they were free, but that's only two. So what is the third thing that you want to share with us?
There's Jordan again, trying to hold people accountable. Okay, the third thing, we have some internal testing we would like to do, and I think there is some ambiguity about how our drop system works and how the money moves from one place to another. So we thought we would try and involve the community in those drops and that testing that we need to do before we can go fully live with the games themselves. So we're going to do a closed drop for a small amount of money, $1,000 initially, for PCC only. So there'll be a password to access the site to actually play this game. We will drop the details in the next day or so onto the Discord and make sure everybody knows how to get involved. But effectively, it's an opportunity to take money from me. I'll be subsidizing the pot. So I think it will be $1,000 prize, $500 worth of tickets. So play as much as you like. The other $500 comes out of my pocket, and you can laugh as you rob it from me.
I think that's a key point, right? That for anyone that may not be your fan, they can now have a chance and take your funds from you.
Yes, come and steal from me. I will enjoy it muchly. And beyond that, if we have other things we want to test out, we'll try and make sure that the community is involved so they can see what's going on as we move closer and closer to the date when we actually push live for the general public.
Excellent. Brilliant. Appreciate you giving us such early access and also having influence into how it's shaped.
No
Talking
problem.
about influence, I know you listen to your Discord and they've hit you with a bunch of questions, some which we've pulled up and we have right here for you. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 questions for you, Murray, and then we'll let you go and save the world. So the first question is, the 25% of Billy NFT whitelist spots already taken. That's remarkable. How long have you been live for with the whitelist?
I think it's about 3 hours.
Okay, so
3 or
within
4
3 hours, 25% of the whitelisting spots have already gone. Are they all from within the PCC ecosystem, or has there been external interest?
We have all, I think half of those I know for a fact are from third parties we already had deals with. So institutional investors, those sorts of people who like to buy into every project basically early, had already approached us. I don't know what the count is, but it's got to be less than half of those are from PCC so far.
Remarkable. And thank you for that transparency, because a lot of times when these projects launch, people don't know if there is a whitelist. And if they do know it's a whitelist, they don't even know who's on that. So thank you for giving us a little breakdown.
No problem. In fact, there's something I will add to that. One of the questions that we had, which I'm not sure whether you have looked up yet, was an ambiguity about what happens if you buy an NFT and it's not in the wallet you have a nest with. So we have a small reservation of NFTs for in that situation that we have to manually verify somebody. So that we know you didn't get, you bought yours and we can verify it later, then we can make sure you still get your NFT, you still get validated for your rebate.
Excellent. Brilliant. Moving forward, what are the stickers on the NFTs?
NFTs have stickers to indicate their rarity. So there are 5 different levels of rarity, and 4 of them have stickers on and 1 does not.
And that 1, can you give away what does that 1 mean?
The 1 is the common ones. So if you get one of the ones that has the least strength, so the rarity will indicate its ability to multiply your ticket purchases to entries. So rarer the NFT, the more benefit it has you in the games, or the more you work on your goat in the farm, same situation, increase its strength.
Powerful. Man, I can't wait to end this so I can join. Right then, so we've got 2 more before we let you go. So how come it's on the Ethereum network was chosen over Avalanche, which inherently comes with, of course, lower gas fees, etc., etc.?
We struggled over the decision about which network to put the NFT on, and it came down to just the numbers. The big marketplaces, the majority of sales for NFTs are on Ethereum, and as much as I hate Ethereum, you've got to do what the crowd wants sometimes. And if the audience was PCC only, absolutely, we would be talking about Avalanche, but the audience is everybody.
Of course. And we may have Spectrum NFT launching very soon, and we may have a little surprise. So we'll leave that open-ended for everyone. Fingers and toes crossed. And the final question for you, Murray, is, does PCC make money from NFT sales?
Yeah, I keep seeing these questions that I find kind of strange. PCC is a shareholder of Billy Drop.
Yeah.
They own 25% of the company. So anything we make money on, we all make money on. There is no distinction between NFTs, Goat Farm, the drop itself, or any of the other games that we have currently in production that will be talked about and released soon.
Nice.
Everything's a profit maker.
That's excellent to know, because it goes without saying, as much as Swapsicle is doing so much for us from a brand reputation, we know the community weren't excited, of course, when they saw the numbers. But we have to understand that Billy Drop and Spectrum NFT, you two are really going to change the game for nest holders. So you have my full support. I speak on behalf of the entire community. We are right behind you, Murray. Thank you for your time, because I know in a couple of days you have to go off and launch something else for us.
Yes, we do.
Yes, excellent. Well, look, any final messages for everyone watching at home?
I'm just grateful for everybody's support so far, and make sure you get in before it's too late.
Excellent. Look, Murray, goes out saying, sir, thank you for your time. It's one thing you can't get back. Do you want to exit in a certain style, or would you like me to kick you off the stage?
Just kick me.
Just kick you. I'll see you around, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Well, back to our normal Phoenix Table Talk. Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us, you are in the right place. You did just see Spider-Man on your screen. And yes, that's the CEO of Billy Drop. They are announcing an awful lot of news right now. So be sure to go and head over to their Twitter. Via that, the best way to keep in touch, Discord. And failing that, Koos, could you bring up the website for us one more time? If you head over to their website, that's where you can participate and really engage with what's coming their way. Now, although we have covered ultimately the most important piece of news today, which is Billy Drop is launching and already bringing profits to nest holders. And as mentioned, thank you, Koos. If you want to go and really get involved with Billy Drop, find out beyond this stream, although come back though, okay, just open the tab, don't leave, stay here. But as soon as we end this, go find out exactly what Billy Drop are doing and how you can get involved. Now, back to the segment which all of you are familiar with, and that's your most important questions that you submitted in advance. I then run to Eric as a little messenger, and I get the answers for every single one of you to your most important questions. So this week we had about 7 questions, and the questions are now becoming more niche and more specific to our partners. So you're going to start to see the Phoenix Table Talks now that our partners are launching and they're live. Ultimately, you're going to have more questions for them as you are for us. As our communication gets better, I also expect those questions to lessen towards us. But for now, let's take a look at what we have. So the first question is, do you think we will have to wait until after the current bear market for decent returns from the partnerships? This is a question which I love as a crypto investor myself, right? You hear the saying that during bear markets, you build, and that is no different here. Would we love for it to be a bull market? Yes. Would people be more inclined to participate in what we're building? Potentially, but it's not stopping what we're doing. And hopefully you can all see that ironically, our partnerships are launching during a bear market. Now, many people say, oh, that's a terrible time to launch. We think it's the best time, because if a company can survive during these conditions, wow, they're going to flourish when it's easier, shall we say. So profits will not be impacted because we're in a bear market, and will be here when we do have a bull and more flourishing market. Moving over to the next question. So is there any way to have an auto pay system for fees? Now, when this question got proposed, I was like, why didn't I think of this? This is genius, especially when it comes to your nests expiring, until, of course, we update smart contract, and that, of course, will alter. So looking at it for now, when your nest expires and you miss that last day to pay your maintenance fee, you lose your rewards, okay? So someone has come up with this idea of, well, surely we can create an automatic pay system. So currently, we can't do that from a technical standpoint, okay? Because when you do a transaction for your MetaMask wallet, you have to sign the transaction. So we're unable from a technical aspect to do that. Doesn't mean it's impossible. And if you're watching this right now and you have an idea, or you know someone or a company that has a auto pay system with a DeFi app connected to MetaMask, please let us know. Right? We learn just as much from you as you do from us. So the way you can let us know, tag us on Twitter saying, hey, Jordan said, if you need help with the auto pay system, well, I can help you. Be sure to then contact us on Discord. Our fabulous mod team will keep an eye out for you as well. And failing that, tag me on Discord, because I always get back to every single message. All right. So a fantastic question, one which we don't know how to do, but if you do, let us know. Moving on. Question number 3. Will there be any benefit for holding the NFTs for the airdrop? And again, if you're new to this, the NFTs boost your reward rates on your nest for earning fire. It does not boost or change or alter or reduce your percentage to the profits from the airdrops. So whether you have 1 NFT or 10, it's not going to change how much you get from the profit shares each and every month. The only thing currently the NFTs do is boost your reward rate for earning fire on your nest. Hope that's nice and clear for everyone. Moving on forward, and we've actually got a little name for who asked this. So at Crypto Shark said, why isn't there Fire Farm option on Swapsicle? Now, anyone who was with us back January, February, I think about March time as well, we did have a farm. We had it on Pangolin. And for a very limited time, we actually saw tremendous benefits. The exposure, the buying pressure of the FIRE token, it was all there until we looked under a microscope and we actually found it had an inverse impact. In fact, we discovered there was tremendous selling pressure from having a farm on Pangolin. Now, that's why we moved off it and we closed it and we finished on good terms with Pangolin. Now, regarding creating a farm on Swapsicle, we don't have any operational decisions of how they run their business. Okay. Is it a conversation we're open to having? Yes. But at this moment in time, it doesn't contribute to our main goal and focus right now, which, if you didn't know, it's making sure our partners launch and that they are profitable month in and month out. So everything else that's in our, what's the word I'm looking for? Peripheral vision. That's in our peripheral vision. We'll put it on the shelf and we can come back to it. But right now, it's not of interest and it's not going to contribute to the most important goal, which is making sure those airdrops increase every single month. And with Billy Drop already bringing in money, 25% of the whitelist has already been taken. I think you're going to be a little bit more happy with this month's airdrop. But Ultimate PCC, we're not going to be happy until every single month we can look back and say, wow, look at that. So now we move on to something a little bit drier, but something important to discuss, right? Regulation. Now, Jordan.w, great first name, by the way, good taste. He asked, when the US sets their regulations on cryptos, presumptively being securities and any platform trading securities, they must register in order to operate in the States. Are PCC willing to adjust, pivot to meet those standards? And the answer is yes, we are willing to adjust to meet regulatory standards as of when they evolve. Now, in terms of speaking on behalf of decentralized platforms, we can't do that. 1, legal reasons, we don't know that landscape. And 2, that's not our interest right now. So it's not our forte, and we also can't speak on that because we don't have the legal expertise. But we do know at PCC, if any standards did change, and of course, we have a tremendous legal counsel in-house, and we also had advisors as well, we'll be the first to know about it. Coming towards the end of our questions, we've got 3 more left, and it relates back to Billy Drop. So will Billy Drop be using the FIRE token? A great question. Utility, utility, utility. To pay for entries into their lotteries, buying NFTs, etc. Initially, myself and the majority of the team were like, that's genius, right? Because if we make FIRE a currency to enter into our own partners, that's just feeding the entire ecosystem. And of course, bringing buying pressure to the FIRE token. But again, similar to the farm on Swapsicle, when you just take a moment to then step back and think, So people are going to buy the FIRE token. Okay, so we'll see a short-term positive price action. Then they're going to, of course, transfer it over to Billy Drop. Now, Billy Drop naturally won't want to hold a volatile asset. They'll want to, of course, turn it into a stable coin. So all that's going to do is push that selling pressure down the line. So the only people, of course, who can do that are people earning the FIRE token, which, of course, will then lead to more selling, or those, of course, who don't have the FIRE token who buy it, and Billy Drop eventually anyway converting it and selling it for their own profits. So it doesn't make any sense for the FIRE token to be a currency in the Billy Drop ecosystem to purchase any of their products moving forward. The penultimate question, and one which all of you should really be paying attention to, right? It comes to the financials, because numbers don't lie. And that's something which, as we launch more partners and we have more data to present, we will. So the question is, will you release quarterly or yearly financial reports? Now, this question was a little bit vague. Is this about PCC? Is this about our partners? So I'll answer both sides. So when it comes to providing profit breakdown from our partners / incubators, 100%. And we'll be doing that monthly, subject to change. And in terms of how we present that data, we're still finding more effective and efficient ways. A dashboard is still being developed. It doesn't make sense, of course, to have the dashboard and all that work yet for only now 2 partners going live. So once we've got more data, the dashboard will make more sense. Until then, come join the Phoenix Table Talk, Twitter, Discord. We'll be sharing all that data at the end of every single month. Or shall I say, once the month ends, the beginning of the following month. So the first of every month will be my personal target to get that financial data out. Now, regarding the financial health of PCC, a very quick reminder to the transparency and the obligations of the nest holder that you have at PCC. So the boring part, you're entitled to 100% of the profits that PCC make from the partners they invest in. When it comes to voting decisions, when it comes to understanding the company dynamics and job titles and names and salaries, expenses, etc., we're not legally obligated to share that with you. Okay, for some of you, you may not like that. But if you just take a moment and step back and think, wait a minute, we're operating as a business. And as a business, you get a certain amount of information, and there's a certain amount of information that you don't get when you invest in a company. Remember, you're not investing in PCC solely. You're investing and earning from the partners that we deploy your capital to. Okay, so you don't own any shares or any bargaining power with how we run PCC. We listen to you, as we tell you. That's why we're here every Wednesday. We listen to you. We want you to help us guide and influence where we go. Sadly, though, we also hold the right to say you're not going to have access to that information. So as sobering as that comment is, I hope that kind of squashes the whole, hey, can we see the numbers of PCC? What you need to worry about is, are we doing good work? Are we communicating effectively? And are our partners being profitable? If we're ticking those 3 boxes, I believe we're doing a good job. And finally, and ultimately, I saved this to last because there's some potential exciting news here. All right. And for many of you, we're facing resistance right now because months ago, this wasn't even a thought, right? That FIRE was superseding maintenance fees, and something like this was never even a question. However, now we look at the market, we look at the price of the FIRE token, which we're aware of, and we understand that some of you may be coming towards the end of this month and thinking, I'm going to be running at a loss. I'm going to have to put in $5 to maintain all of my nests and potentially sell my FIRE tokens just to keep all my nests live and active. So this person has asked the question, which is on many people's minds. Is there a certain ratio trigger for reducing changing the maintenance fee structure, e.g. FIRE token and airdrops are not enough to cover the fees? It goes without saying, I share tremendous empathy with every single one of you when it comes to making this tough decision right now. Understand, though, this period will pass. Understand this decision of, do I put in an extra $5 to cover the fee? Or, is it going to be enough? It will be a thing of the past, like it was months ago, right? Now, when it passes, this is what we have to look forward to. It was always set out, retroactively, it was always 0.2 AVAX. Okay, we increased it, we listened to you, we were like, yeah, that's not fair, because what's good for you, the investor, is good for us as a business. So we reduced it back to the original 0.2 AVAX. Okay, we wanted to peg it to the dollar. However, we couldn't quite do that with a smart contract. So 0.2 in AVAX. Now, AVAX is a fluctuating asset. So when we set out, AVAX was about $100. And that was bang on the mark for our business model of $20 per nest. However, AVAX now has also stumbled a little bit towards the downside. So we are now being super, super conscious of where we're putting every single dollar, because we need to make sure it's fair for you, but also make sure we can keep running the business to make sure our partners are still profitable. So as I said, this period will pass. And the reason why I left this towards the end was because Eric shocked me with this answer. He said, as a company, powers above me, we are looking at alternative ways to cover fees. Now, I don't want everyone thinking, we're never going to have to pay fees again, okay? We're looking at alternative ways to subsidize fees, to find a model which works for both parties. But understand that, of course, the model you see today may not be the model next year in terms of fees, for good reason. Not for the negative, but we're looking at alternative ways to cover those fee costs, which are fair for both the business and yourselves as we grow. So that we're less reliant on those fees as a business. Okay. Now, like I said, that doesn't mean that Jordan said in a year's time, fees are going to zero. Because I know what you're like, community. You take every single word I say, or Luke or Eric, to the T. And rightly so, you should. And you should hold us to that high standard. What we are saying is that fee structure, we are looking to subsidize it for a number of ways. Okay. When, I can't tell you, all I know is that we're proactively working on it. And as we become more self-sustaining as a business and our partners do, so too will your time and experience with us as nest holders. So I want to leave us all on this. What's good for the investors, yourselves, is good for our business. So please keep telling us what you would like to see from PCC as we move and evolve. And now that we come to the end of our second show at the Phoenix Table Talk, I want to leave you all on a quote to return back to the real world. I'm a stoic, I'm a philosopher. So once you end this stream, live life as if you were to die right now. Sounds morbid, but let that guide what you think, say, and do, as if you were to pass this very second. Would you be proud? And if the answer is yes, you're living a good life. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Welcome back to Phoenix Table Talk, and we'll see you in the next episode. Ciao for now.